Well, good morning everyone. We're taking Ja out for a little bit of a walk. Then I'm heading out to do some vlogging. So I told you all yesterday what we were going to be doing today, and as I was getting ready for it, I was looking around through Ohio and I noticed there was something else that I really wanted to see. Couldn't believe when I typed in where it was that it's actually along the way today. So I'm gonna make two vlogs. You'll see the first one that I film tomorrow, but you're gonna watch us go today to the Gable Museum. To my knowledge, only one that exists. This is gonna be a blast. Daze with Jordan the Lion begins now. And what do you have to say for yourself? Now, I wanted to go to the Gable Museum the last time I was here, but when I mapped it from where my family lives, it was gonna be 3 hours and 45 minutes. When I mapped it from where I'm staying right now, right at 2 hours. So that was enough for me. I said, you know what, I've been doing a lot of driving, but hey, for the king we got to. For 2 hours we have to, right? Plus they have, well, I'm not gonna tell you what they have, but it's definitely worth the trip. They did something I've actually never seen any museum that I've attended do. Don't mind me, I'm just along for the ride. He's really the one in the driver's seat. Well, my friends, we've made it to Cadiz, Ohio, birthplace of my favorite actor, Gable. Now, what's interesting about this museum, unlike any other museum I think I've ever been to, is that this is a recreation of the house that Gable was born in here in Cadiz. In the mid-1960s, as I understand, the house, the original house over here, was demolished. The Gable Foundation raised the money to have an exact recreation made, and now this is, to my knowledge, the only Gable museum in the world. Let's go, shall we? And if you look right over here to the right, they actually have a wonderful memorial for Clark. William Clark Gable, stage and motion picture actor, was born at Cadiz, Ohio on February 1st, 1901, in a house that once stood on this site. He was reared in nearby Hopedale. During his filming career of 36 years, Gable made 67 talking pictures, including It Happened One Night, for which he won an Oscar in 1934 as Best Actor, and the classic Gone with the Wind, which won the Academy Award for Best Picture of 1939. He died November 16th, 1960 in Hollywood, California, and this was dedicated on his birthday in 1986. Now, they don't normally allow filming, but I called and talked to them yesterday, and we got it, so let's go. Oh, I'm so excited. Wow. And look who's right there in the window to greet us. Well, there he is. The bust of the man himself. Now, this is a 3D incredible depiction of Gone with the Wind. Look at that. Now, what's really cool is that every year they have a birthday party festival celebration here, and they've had his son, they've had Judy, who, you know, pretty much everybody now accepts that it's Loretta Young and Clark Gable's daughter. She's now passed. They've got really great to keep his memory alive like this. Now, they told me that he lived in this house, or what was, you know, originally the house, for only 6 months, and then moved not too far away to a place that we might go visit and see that house after. And here on the walls they have all kinds of great photos and tributes to Clark, including one of the greatest scenes from Gone with the Wind. Check out some of the merch you can get here. They have fans, they have coffee cups, and I'm definitely getting a few things while I'm here. I've already set aside a whole pile of things that I'm gonna get. There he is in the military after Carol passed. Now, in here they have all kinds of stuff, including a book that someone wrote about his life in this area of Ohio, Harrison County. Now, there are some great pictures of Clark, including a floor-length poster. And they actually have some posters for sale, so I've grabbed one of those as well. These are some of the older newsletters or programs from some of the birthday celebrations, and I picked up one right here of when his son John Clark Gable came to the festivities, and he signed the inside of all of those, so I picked up one of those. Here's a great book of Clark Gable's life in pictures. There he is fishing. He was an avid hunter and fisherman. Now when we go upstairs, that has some of his personal mementos from when he was a kid. Down here they just have a lot of really interesting things that you could at one point buy or that are Clark Gable themed. And I even used to have this poster where he's loading the gun right there. Now here's a signed picture of little Bonnie during the filming of Gone with the Wind. And they even have a section outside of all the people that have come here where they've signed their name in cement, and we'll check that out before we leave. That is incredible. That is from It Happened One Night, one of my favorite scenes, the carrot eating scene. Now this is a tribute painting that a local did, and they sell copies of it. This is downtown Cadiz, which is where we are now, and you can see right over here is a Clark homecoming where he's signing autographs for all the locals, and the Cadillac, the 1954 Cadillac that he had, they have it in this picture because it's here at this museum as well, and we're going to see that. So like I said, this was a recreation of the original house, so this would have been one of the rooms with a fireplace in it. The entryway, the front door, would have been right here, and then there's a second floor that we're going to go see that has most of his personal artifacts that they have here, including his sled. How about that? Well, here's the 1954 Cadillac.
Two different museums in Canada, and then a collector from here in this county had a big collection, and he bought it. When he passed away, his wife had the collection sold, and the museum was able to acquire the car.
Wow, that's a beauty.
Isn't it? Everybody loves it.
1954 Cadillac.
It has air conditioning. The information tells us that's the second year for factory air. And power steering, power brakes, power windows, a foot switch for a radio.
Look at that interior.
It doesn't have a lot of miles. When he bought it, it had 21,302 miles.
Oh wow, so he bought it used, huh?
No, the guy that the collector.
Oh, the collector did.
Yes,
oh, so he only rode.
No, he bought it new. Here's the
white walls.
ID card from the Cadillac dealer.
Look at that.
No way am I backing it down into this garage. I'm not even going to drive this thing.
They even have the actual information from the dealership. We'll take a look at. And there he is, of course. So right here they have some documentation that says this car was specifically ordered by Clark Gable from the Cadiz Cadillac, Sherman Oaks, California. Gable took delivery of the car on July 15th, 1954. The car was ordered with Eldorado trim, gold crest, rib quarter panel trim, and special hubcaps. The car was owned by Gable for several years and sold to Mr. Schaff, who in 1966 sold it to the Cars of the Stars Museum in Niagara Falls. The car was on display there until the museum went out of business in '79, and at that time Mr. Bell Thames purchased the car at auction for his private museum in Toronto. It says the car is original except for being repainted with the original Newport blue paint. Wow, check that out. And here it is on display.
The museum owns it now.
Let's take a walk around the car. just right here. I mean, think of him behind that wheel. I guarantee this car wasn't moving slow if he was driving it. He was known for putting the pedal to the metal, that's for sure. And I doubt it's still happening, but his son was a race car driver at one point. Clark Gable's Caddy. Take a look inside. The King's Caddy. Now we're gonna go inside and take a look upstairs. Now this museum's been here for 20 years, so they've had quite a few stars come out and visit for the festival, so we're gonna go see some of the handprints that they left here. So here you can see they've got a long string of them. We'll go through them. This is the great-grandson, Daniel Selznick of David O. Selznick, who produced Gone with the Wind. Then you have Cammie King, who is Bonnie. His daughter, Bonnie. And then here, you have one of the twins, Fred Crane, from Gone with the Wind. And there's Bo, the baby, Patrick Curtis, Anne Rutherford. We know Anne Rutherford. And then here's Rand Brooks and Butterfly McQueen from Gone with the Wind. And it's right here in front of the house. There we go.
106-degree temperature.
Now these are from his house when he was a boy. Here's a copy of his the bill from the doctor when he was born. He weighed 10 pounds, well, 10.5 pounds, which makes a lot of people believe that his mother probably was diabetic, and they charged $10 for his birth. But you can see all these $1. That means those would have been visits with his mother. So that's why they believe she was pretty sick. She ended up dying when he was very young. And there's a canceled check signed by Clark to Western Exterminators. That sled, they bought it at an auction, and it was Clark's childhood sled. Look at that. It even has his name down there.
And this is a picture, a postcard that he wrote back.
Isn't that something? I think she said they paid $8,000 for it. And this is an announcement from Hopedale Public Schools. That's where he ended up going to school after here. And he's listed in there as doing a solo underneath the primary exercises. That's his baptism.
He said, Nanny said, I have a picture.
And a picture of his last wife with his son. It's Kay and John Clark.
Love the picture.
And this is a pajama.
Look at Clark up there hunting.
This looks so
There he is out there hunting with a friend.
So,
Look at Clark as a little boy.
And that is
Now these are great. These are all photos of him when he was a little kid in school.
you could have worn that to the wedding, Lynn. That would have been beautiful.
And one of the things that she pointed out to me was that here's Clark right here. This was his best friend. And they said that once they went to play a baseball game a couple of towns away, when they got off the bus, one of the coaches said, "We don't let blacks play." And Clark said, "Well, then we don't play. The whole team doesn't play." And they left. And there he is right there. Number 6. And this is the room that he would have been born in. This upstairs room. This is a pajama top of his with his initials embroidered on it. How about that? And here's a letter from the woman who gave it to them, telling the story of how she got it. she went out to visit a friend in Encino and said she was a big fan, and the friend gave her this and gave her sister the pipe that they have here. They were just telling me that they've actually had this motorcycle here a couple of times on loan, and I said, is it like a private owner? And he said, yeah. The guy just happened to be a fan of Indian motorcycles. When he bought the motorcycle used from a warehouse, he didn't know it was Clark Gable's till he started going through the saddlebags and stuff on the side and started finding paperwork that said it was Clark. So it's actually not too far from the museum, and maybe they'll have it again. It's pretty cool. Said he put it in storage when he went into the military. And there's Clark and Roy Rogers, and that's the pipe. That was his pipe that he owned.
It didn't work because 10 days later, here he is, they're asking Scarlett to go to the barbecue with him. And this,
wow, his wings. Here's a letter that J. Edgar Hoover sent to Kay Gable, saying that he was shocked to learn the passing of Clark. And at the bottom it says, if there's anything at all I can do to help at this time, please let me know. J. Edgar Hoover.
we took every
Look at that tribute to the house in the Ohio State. Now this room is all dedicated to the memory of Carol and the crash, their life together. It's a little bit of everything. They have a great museum here. It's really something special. And of course, this is somebody went up and hiked up to the crash. There's some of the aircraft pieces from the crash. Now check out this case. It's Carol's hair comb, and then her travel clock with her initials back there, CL on that green piece. That was his cigarette case, that black one right there. If you look close, right there on the lid of it, you can see a CG in gold. Can you see that? And then get this, his dog tags, the military, and then this black diamond is a replica of the one that Carol was given by Clark that she's wearing in this photo. I'll show you. Right there. She's wearing it right there. Here are many photos of Carol's career, including a beautiful photo of her and Clark right there together. And of course that one's a great one as well. This was truly just probably the worst day of his life. The whole reason that he joined the military was mainly, a lot of people say it was a death wish. He wanted to serve, but he wanted to join Carol. He said when he would ride his motorcycle up and down Sunset Boulevard, he would ride it erratically, hoping to crash. And when she ended up dying on the trip selling war bonds, he felt it was his duty, even though he was considerably older than most of the people enlisting. He felt that it was important for him to enlist, and they said he signed up for every bombing mission he could. And this beer stein, this was Clark Gable's beer stein. They were showing us that when you look through it, the bottom was a glass bottom. And they said that his son said the reason that they had those was because the guys could look at women through the bottom while they were drinking. Very Clark. And that's a little signed piece from his first wife, Josephine, who was his acting teacher.
I left my house the next morning.
You should definitely come check out this museum. It's incredible.
Wearing boots, and I'm laughing hysterically.
And there is a brick from the original house. Well, that was pretty freaking cool. An exact replica of his childhood home with many of his personal belongings and things that he gave to people. Now, I'm gonna go in and buy a few things like I told you, and mainly postcards, a shirt, you know, stuff like that. And then we're gonna head out. We're gonna go to see his other house that he lived in after this, and that'll pretty much do it for us. I can't recommend you come enough. The Clark Gable Birth Home and Museum. The only Clark Gable museum there is in the world. Look at the mural of Clark. Awesome. Next stop, Hopedale. There it is, welcome to Hopedale. So I do have to give a big thank you to the museum because they don't allow anybody to take photos or anything inside the house at all, and they let me do quite a bit. I agreed I would not do a complete walkthrough, but they said, you know what, you can pick and choose and show some things that you think that people will like to see. So big thank you to the birthplace home of Clark Gable and the Clark Gable Foundation for allowing that to happen. Well, there it is. That was the house that Clark Gable moved into after about the first 6 months of his life, and lived in that house when he lived here in Hopedale. So we've gotten to see his entire early childhood, what's left of it, and a few pretty cool mementos, including one of his cars. I'm happy. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm a big Clark Gable fan. To get to see a few things that people still remember around here, pretty special to me. Seth's cat and Jar are chasing each other. Where's Calvin? There's Calvin. Get him, Cal. Calvin, get Jaw. Well, my friends, we're gonna call it a night. I want to thank Edgar DLT for becoming my newest Patreon, and thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed getting to see a recreation of the birth home of Clark Gable, as well as we went and saw the house that he lived in Hopedale when he was attending school. And they have done such a great job at that museum. Like I said, there's only one Clark Gable museum in the world. It seems like a travesty that that's the case, but they truly love that place. They're all volunteers, and please help support them. They're doing great work there. If you have any Clark Gable memorabilia laying around your house, contact them and put it in the museum. Have a great night, everyone. We'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.